Hello everyone, and welcome to another showcase. This time we have the Opsolun PAC engine by Joshai. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but thank you for sending in this submarine. That's a nice variety of vehicles we got going. This one's going to be a little bit weird, I guess. It's going to be a little bit rambly because I don't have any really big issues or any big points to make about this vehicle. So when in the original email I got comments about how it struggles against medium torpedo spam and a little bit with detection as well. So we're going to address that in the beginning right away. So the main thing about torpedo spam or missile spam in general is going to be decoys. Decoys are the only form of defense that really scales. Now, obviously it doesn't deal with remote guidance, or I believe you can still use, beam rider torpedoes. That could still be a problem. But that's pretty much the only form of missile defense that really scales regardless of the amount of missiles that are fired at you. That said, interceptors can potentially damage more than one missile at a time, so that increases your chance to scale up a bit against spam, and of course CWIS if you use explosive shells. Although if there's proper staggering between the missiles, that might not really work. So this thing went the CWIS route. It has these two kinetic CWIS, which could probably be tweaked a little bit, but honestly for the space that there is in this vehicle, it's pretty good actually. The Tetris is fine, the performance is fine as far as I can tell. It's really just decent. Oh, and this thing is a front-sider, so both of these CWIS should have a pretty good line of sight on any incoming torpedoes, and it should be really slow, but they're also going to be coming straight on, so it should really be no problem. The other thing was detection, and unfortunately with submarines there just isn't very much you can do. I remember in one of the funky fixes I just spammed all kinds of different detection systems. Well, with submarines it's pretty much what you do, but you just spam sonars. That's just about the only thing you can do. This thing has quite a few passive sonars, which helps against ships. Well, I mean, you're not going to detect anything that's above the water unless you fire, well, you could have an inter-vehicle transmitter, or you could fire radar buoys above water, but other than that, your only options are really radar, wireless snoopers, but they're not really precise. So sonars. And because this thing is a front-sider, just a bunch of sonar 90s on the front would do a lot for it. Next, in terms of my own personal comments, well, there isn't anything really glaring. The nitpicky stuff would be, well, I tend to prefer more compact designs, and this thing is a bit, it feels a bit empty for its size, but that's not really a problem. Space can be useful actually as a form of defense, so a single big explosion can't take out multiple subsystems. Other than that, well, this thing on the back is probably fairly useless. It's a very small particle accelerator turret, and it, yeah, I mean, I guess it does something, but probably not much. One of my main gripes actually would be the way this thing keeps its altitude. So in the AI, the altitude is actually not set for below water, and the way it's achieved, it's still using the AI, but it's this kind of shenanigans with the PID, which I wouldn't recommend because I think this could scrape off against the seabed in shallower areas. That seems, yeah, basically what that does is if the altitude is set to 0, it's essentially going to hold minus 100, it's minus 50 times 2. So yeah, but then the AI thinks it's trying to navigate around 0 meters, I believe. So it might not dodge the terrain, even if it could. That would be one of my main gripes. And then there's the torpedoes that could be slightly optimized. The big thing is the signal processors. So if you look here, you have the decoy missile strength randomly reduced to 2% and 20%. If you look closely at that number, if I remove one of the signal processors, it stays the same. And if I remove both, now it's different. So I'm pretty sure there's only one signal processor that's doing anything, so you could probably just maybe add a fin and replace that with the fuel that I just now removed or something. That would help a little bit. But I tend to prefer target prediction guidance for torpedoes because APN, I feel, well, first of all, even if you look at the description, the only downside is this is worded weird. Anyway, the downside is it is only effective when closing on the target. So it doesn't actually change the path of the torpedo or missile from very far away. It's mostly from up close. And a target prediction guidance can actually do it from far away. And because, well, usually ships and submarines aren't particularly jittery or fast, this is fine. And this will actually optimize the trajectory of your missile over a long distance. So it might take less time to get there, even though torpedoes are pretty slow. You know, if you take a shortcut, air quotes, that will get on target faster. That would be the main things that I would say that would need improvement on this vehicle. So, in terms of positives, well, this thing just really doesn't have any glaring flaws, and that's something I can't say about a lot of vehicles that I've seen anyway. I mean, I've seen some really great stuff, but I mean, on average, I can usually find something that I'd be like, this could be improved or whatever. This thing really, aside from missing maybe sonar decoys, there's just not a lot of, there really isn't anything particularly bad about this vehicle, which is a great thing, actually. And, well, I might be saying this about a lot of vehicles, but I like this thing's overall shape. But not only that, I kind of like how, like, I don't know how to say that. It doesn't have a lot of bland areas. It's just the general shape and the positioning of everything that's functional, like the weapons and everything, is just nicely distributed. So it doesn't look boring, although it could be, you know, those could be painted. But it doesn't look boring, and yet it's not also, you know, covered in mimics or anything like that. And that's something I can appreciate. It's like a nice, just good design, right? Making your vehicle look pleasing without having to cover it in, you know, glitter or something, is also something that's not, you know, easily achieved. Coming up with interesting shapes that don't need a ton of decor to make look interesting is definitely something that's pretty difficult. And yeah, I don't have a lot more to say because so I kind of just started trailing off there. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the Opsolun. Thank you, GeoShy, I'm gonna write that on screen, for sending it in. I'd like to remind you guys that I'm still taking submissions, and even if it might not be the best material for video, or if I can't guarantee that I'll, you know, make a video really quickly on your vehicle, I'm more than happy to send you feedback on your designs in a timely fashion, even though the video might be up, you know, weeks later. Anyway, if you want to send something in, either for a showcase or for the funky fixes, you can send me blueprints via Discord or at om.ftd@gmail.com. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.